Hello everyone, I'm Enderman Slayer 1991 and I got myself a little boat over here. There's my house over there. And we're going to go do some exploring across this open ocean area. And we'll see how long it takes us to get to land and see what we find. Oh, what the hell? So we got a little ocean monument over there. Got some weird land stuff going here with, for whatever reason, rendered really square. Got some lava right there going. That's pretty cool. Got some flat land here. Let's go check this out and see what's going on over here. Oh, got some horses going. I really wish I had a boat that worked. Maybe even had some beds and stuff on it. Okay, everyone, I have a solution to the issue of the crappy boat in vanilla Minecraft. That everyone kind of thinks is maybe a little bit lame. Uh, Solution is this here. This is I what I've been calling the vanilla ship. So it wasn't designed by me. It was actually designed by MrCheeze, and he made all of the redstone that makes this work. And meanwhile, this really isn't the uh, best mod or not mod, but the best design because, like I said, he designed it. It's his type of thing. I tailored it more to what I needed it to do, and putting it on a server and doing some of the stuff that I did to it kind of makes it run a bit slow. That being said, I have a couple of videos down in the description that I would recommend out before taking a look at this video here, being as it is actually a tutorial on how to make this and maybe some tips and tricks and some guidance to give you guys on it. Now, basically what this is as far as controls go, is as you've noticed already, this pressure plate here, all I have to do is stand on it and it goes forward. These two buttons here turn the boat itself left or right, depending on which button you actually push. And wait for it. Okay, and then this right here is just some little special additive that I threw in, and I'll tell you guys how that works as well. And it just changes it to night, so I can come down here and use my bed, which is currently being occupied by a minecart. So yeah, without further ado, let me get on over to the actual spot in which makes all of this stuff run. And I actually have two boats, both of them fully functional, and both of them exactly the same. Now I'm going to come over here and hit this button. It's going to teleport me into my ship room. Now what I have here is 4 ships, all of them facing each of the cardinal directions. And what it's doing is actually copying one of these ships to either move it in a direction, or it is turning, if you will, turning it. In all actuality, let's say if I was using this one and I was turning left, copy this one and paste it over, and therefore on this boat itself. Now, with that being said, let me open the deck real quick and show you guys the redstone that goes along with it. Okay, so with this being said, the command block is the most important thing that you have going into this boat, and that is going to define the parameters for searching, cloning, and where to put it. Also, naturally, you're going to need a pressure plate, button, levers, whatever your mechanism of choice is to make this actually run. Now, the biggest thing with it is you have the the front to back, and I've kind of laid this out in the description to kind of tell you guys how this is laid out. But you're gonna when you have 3 layers, you have the front one, you have the front to back on the top, front to back on the in the middle, and then the bottom if you decide to go with those optional. I took them out, trying to make it run a bit better. Now this one here is a search block, and I put all of the coding in the description, so that way you guys can just copy and paste it straight into Minecraft, into the command blocks. One key note is you're only going to be able to make this in creative mode. You won't be able to do it in survival, so you'll have to copy and paste it into from creative to survival, then adjust the grids to make it work in survival. And now back to this block that I have here. This is your test for water block. This is going to look for water to make sure that you're not running through a bunch of land, because it will just copy and paste over the land if you do not have anything like that. The next thing you have is a comparator pointing back towards the rear of the ship. Then you have a success count for that first search. So long as you don't find anything, it'll push it backwards into the next one, which is that test block again, and it'll water test block. It'll look for that water and make sure that everything's running smoothly. You have another comparator facing towards the rear, and that will and then below the test block, this is another below the test block above is another success count, just to make sure that everything's running smoothly. And then moving comparator, you have the clone and then placement. So if you're looking at as far as the split between the two sections of this coding is going to be right here where my where the cursor is. Now that split is gonna define your search. So on the left hand side, you're gonna have your area that is getting cloned, which is gonna be this ship itself. But if I'm on one of the ones in the on the water, I'll step on the panel. That ship that I'm on will search for this ship, and then it will clone it to the location on the right, and with the tiled numbers, tiles next to the numbers, it will place it in that area. I don't entirely know how the tiled works when it comes to coding in Minecraft. However, I know you can play with it a bit and you can adjust these numbers, and it's always X, Y, and then Z. So I could actually change the Y to 100, and I'll jump up in the air, or the ship itself will be pasted in the air, and trash on the water, and I'll get left behind and all this other stuff. I can do the same thing with the X, and I can do the same thing with the 11, or the Z. So 9 is X, 11 is Z. I could do the same thing with those two numbers to make it jump in different directions or whatever have you. So if you're having issues when you're playing around with this build, you may very well want to change these numbers to make the ship get pasted either a little bit more right or a little bit more left, so that way you're not ship so bad. Now the next thing to keep in mind is this block is your teleportation block. Because what happens, the original design, and if you watch the videos and watch the recommendation videos, the first ones being the actual vanilla ships themselves, it will you'll step on the panel, you and the ship will essentially move forward at the same time, and then you're on the panel again. So that's the parameters for this, and you'll notice that the Z grid is 2. So I'm trying to move positive 2 in the direction of Z, which is that way, in the direction of the panel from where I'm at now. So that way, once I get pushed 2 blocks, this will move 2 blocks, this will be under my feet, and then rinse and repeat the system. However, this is not the greatest to get this to work, but it actually takes this whole contraption, because all 4 of these are exactly the same, just facing different directions. It'll take option, and you can move it around and do some exploration. You can hit that button that I described to be able to set it to night, go to sleep, set your spawn point. You have some a chest down there, which is always going to be exactly the same. Have an ender chest to be able to drop some stuff and pick it up after you've moved the ship itself a few times. Those are a couple of extra put in there. However, what I've described up until I got to this button, everything else is mandatory. The next mandatory thing that I want to describe after the teleportation block is the turning blocks. Now these are some pretty complicated codes, But some of the biggest things that you'll have to keep in mind is what's going on with first off, because what this block does is it summons a minecart with a command block on it, and the first thing that it's going to do is determine where it's going to put it. Now you notice that this is 3 tiles, right? And the blank ones are just 0. It's level with the command block itself. And then this one is -2, so -2 away from the command block, which just so happens to be this activator rail, which I'm stepping on. And this redstone block here activates that activator rail, therefore making the minecart with the command block on it execute the commands that are inside of the minecart, or inside of the command block on the minecart. Now, if you haven't caught on to it, I've been alluding to the fact that the command block on the minecart that is getting spawned on this activator rail actually has code inside of it, and that is what this command kill entity type minecart command block, and then this R is a range of 1 block, so everything supposedly on this activator rail will get destroyed, and that's the idea of it. However, it doesn't always work out so well if the ship's moving in too many different directions, or if you have that location, which I showed you initially, set wrong, then it'll spawn and drop it in the wrong area, or it won't sit on the activator rail and get activated. The next thing you want to keep in mind, the cloning. This is where you get your turning in play. This is for how your turning works. Quote, quote, turning. So again, we have those 6 numbers. Those are grids starting at, so you have what this is here is clone everything within x1, y1, and z1, excuse me, and then x2, y2, and z2. So it'll take that, because we'll be moving from facing south to north. It'll take everything in that ship within those grids and paste them. So it's not actually turning the ship that you're standing on or standing in. It is copying something within that grid to the relative location in which you're in when you activate it. And that comes into play with these three more numbers with the tiles next to them. That is, like I said, I don't wholly understand how it works, how to establish where's this thing dropping it. I've played around with this for a couple of days, trying to figure out how it exactly works. It's not exactly a 0 scale. You can't just put -2, +2 on whichever numbers relatively. You have to test it out and see what happens, and then play with the numbers enough to get it right about to center where you want it to be. Now, that being said, this is going to take a bit of work when it comes to designing the ship, setting the code up. Keep in mind the relatively the same. Only thing is the grids are going to change, and the relative spawning areas are going to change as well. That being said, I'm going to go into a quick little explanation of how it works. What it does is it's a search pattern. Now I'm facing north right now, so it does a search pattern from the bottom right hand and furthest block. So my block actually happens to be probably about here. That should be where that one is for this ship specifically. And then the next one it's the left top end one, and I want this one would be somewhere about here. That looks about right. So this is gonna be where the search pattern is, in between these command blocks that I just dropped inside of it. So anything that's inside of here will actually get copied and then pasted into the relative area in which we get put. Now, that being said, notice that I have a banner on here, right? And it's facing to the right. This one's facing north, and then this one over here is facing to the back, which is facing north, and then this one over here is facing the left, which is facing north. All of these banners are facing north. So it's a pretty neat little cheap compass, I guess, if you will. Just a little extra aesthetic, if you will, to put something on there that's a little unique. That being said, anything that you put on this, if I go up here and I delete this banner, it will not show up when I turn to the west. It will not show up on the ship once I make that rotation. And it's the same ship that I busted apart the deck for to show how the insides of it. If I turn to the south, it will not spawn with the deck there. That will also sing. And that also plays into this extra stuff that I have in each of these. It's going to spawn beds. If I put an ender chest, it's going to spawn chests. If I put a chest, it's going to spawn a chest with whatever is inside of the chest already. That being said, if I'm on the water exploring the place in survival mode and I stick something in this chest and hope to get it back, I am not going to get it back. Hence the purpose of the ender chest, which will take whatever it will take whatever stuff that you have in the ender chest and teleport it all around the world to every ender chest that's out there. So that's a good, neat little way to store some stuff for later. Now, as far as this goes, it's a pretty simple concept, but it's not the easiest to fix up and make happen. It's complicated and quite frustrating when you're sitting there playing around with this stuff. But I hope to get a little bit of knowledge to be able to help you along with it. And another thing is that coding will definitely help out. If you're downloading either this map or the original map where the guy designed, where MrCheeze designed this himself, then keep in note that if you take one of these ships, just one of them, and paste, you're gonna have a hard time. I would say take each of these ships and paste them individually. So that way, the only thing that you should have to change would be those grid mentioned, and then possibly these relative spawning areas with the tiles next to it. Other than that, as I mentioned before, you have a few mods, you have a few links in the description with information for this ship itself. You have the lines of code that are in there. There are also some optional code pieces in there that will give you particles look like you're pushing through water, and then to give you sound effects to make it sound like you're pushing through water. I removed those to save on memory as this is moving around on a server. And another thing is, if you're trying to play by yourself or you're not trying to do ocean monuments, which are only for 1.8, then I would recommend getting the Archimedes ship mod. I would definitely go check it out, though. It is a awesome mod out there, and some great things can be done with it. I hope you guys found this video informative, and this is Enderman Slayer 1991 signing off.